I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All your mics on?
Yes.
Tasty, tasty, tasty. So I need to get connected, so maybe just 10 seconds to get connected.
All right. Do we have any agenda revisions? Anybody? Nope.
Nope.
All right. Are there any questions on the consent agenda?
Move adoption of the consent agenda.
My second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we've got an informational presentation on the budget update.
Right, thank you. And I think what I'll do is you have a copy in your briefing here in your notes, I think, of the presentation, if you want to look at that. It's probably worth it to share it. Wes, I have privileges for this.
I don't know, Les. I don't know.
If you have any questions or thoughts, I thought it'd be nice just to share it on my screen. Clearly, I'm having challenges with it. Let's share it. Try one more time. So we have Shalice here. If there's any questions regarding the budget up to date, just take a moment to look at our enrollment. Like the trend.
I'm liking that.
Yeah, we're staying. Shalice, what is it's exactly point 5, right? From February.
Woohoo!
I know it.
I'll take it.
Yes. So that's good news.
Yep.
Feel good about that. I'll move past that one and that one. So for March, you see the chart, you see where our fund balance is, which is the red line, very positive.
Yeah.
For March.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it too. And then overall, comparing March 2025 to March 2024, so we're about 7%, around that. So that's good news.
Yeah.
Our fund balance updates. Thank you, Shalice, for keeping this information up to date. Appreciate it. We're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to share a little bit of information about the transportation department when I have an opportunity later on this afternoon. Capital project funds. So our next meeting, Les will be giving you an update regarding the projects we're working on. And a few items later on this meeting. So overall, March is looking really good. And so I think we like where we're tracking for April as well. Any questions?
But this is amazing as always. Thank you so much.
Any further guidance from the state regarding the changing when they're going to disperse funds?
Yeah, they help with their changes. Basically, in the March, April, and May, I'll have them from you, but March, April, and May, they're going down 1% to 0.5%. Then they're making it all up in July, I believe.
July and August, or just July?
I think it was just 1 month.
Mhm.
So they have their preliminary schedule, and then we'll see on the 27th for their full week.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just go to the next item.
Yeah.
If you're good with
Yeah.
that. And so Shalice and I attended yesterday at ESD 112. It's been a series of presentations by Gavin Hotman with ESD 112. And he really oversees and supports across the state. And so I think this is probably our fourth meeting, and it's with other superintendents and other fiscal directors. And so we actually had an individual who spoke, gave a little bit of information as far as our legislative update. And, I thought about today in this item. So we have Dan Steele's TWIO that, I shared some information with you. Nothing was really different from what was presented yesterday. The outlook is not all that positive with what's happening with MSOC funds, special education. We're seeing potential increases, just not the amounts that we were hoping for a few months ago. So as Shalice just said, April 27th is the last day. What you just asked about was taking 2.5% of apportionment, which we would be seeing in, say, March and April or February, March.
Normally, and just
And then,
spreading it out.
that
Yeah.
2.5% provided in July,
Right.
which for some districts could be significant as far as cash flow or
Right.
lack of cash flow to just make payroll.
Right.
So those are the concerns that we talked about. So it's just more reason if that is going to be the case, and then, what happens after 2 years, how do they make up? And just like talking about, like, how will they make that up? What happens and what is the purpose of this? So I'm sure we will learn more about that. I really don't have additional information. I think I shared with you that I sent an encouraging email to our legislative representatives, just hoping that they will support the MSOCs currently. And so thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I did as well.
Great. Yeah, I don't know if you have any other questions. Shalice was with me, there might be some other things that came up. I don't know if you want to mention. I think, it isn't, again, we aren't that optimistic. That we'll get a lot of help.
Yeah, I guess, is there an acknowledgement by somebody in Olympia that it's a budget gimmick that only works once and then it's gone?
I am not hearing one from Olympia
Yeah, okay.
bringing that up.
So it has been in fact,
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you get your money, but as we saw on our comparison last March, we were at 1%. So if we were still right there, that lowering of apportionment that month would really affect us.
yeah.
So this train that we participated in is Clark County and some Cowlitz County districts, and just looking at how do we compare? It's just very helpful to see where we're at. And that information is available on OSBI's website, but it's just to know where we are, and then to be able to ask any questions we have about the future. And there's a lot of things that are up in the air. We're not exactly sure how it's going to impact us. And so, but we're going to know in 2 weeks. Maybe, so I think it's less than 2 weeks. So.
All right. Next up, we've got our proposals for action. Do we have any citizen comments tonight? Nope.
We do not.
All right. All right, next up, we've got resolution 2024-25-07, which is our modified educational program. Eric.
Yes. Okay. So you've had an opportunity to look at our modified educational program.
Yep.
And, it's similar to last year. We had two that we had completed, one in February and one in April. And so I don't know if you don't have any questions about this decision. As I had mentioned last board meeting, we're communicating with our labor partners, so they're aware what our plans are. I think it was published, so there was information from that the proposed document in the paper. So it's certainly public
Out there.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
All right, does anybody have questions?
Yep.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. We are on to resolution 24-25-09, which sole source resolution for purchase of the yellow air, yeah, boilers.
Array boilers.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. So,
Boiler.
yes, we've been talking about boiler replacement at the high school.
Yes.
And so what this is, we're asking the board to approve. What we've done is we've identified a specific type of boiler that we are interested in, that our maintenance team has identified. And Jessica is here really to answer any questions you might have about this specific boiler and this decision. We have some information for you, why this is appealing to us, why we feel like this is an efficient move for us, not only in the short term, but long term with this particular boiler. You want to add a little context since you're here?
So my main point on, guys, consider is the boilers themselves. So the boilers that currently exist at the high school are inside of these 3 tables, and there's 3 of them. If one little part goes wrong, we use an entire boiler. With these new boilers,
You're good, keep going.
You can hear.
with these new boilers, they come in different modules. So this table is now 3 sections, so 1 section can go down. We don't lose the whole boiler. We still have 2 other sections that can keep up and running. So it allows us to not have to have as many boilers as what we currently have. And then also by doing the purchasing ourselves and having only furnished contractor installed, on average, we're going to save around 15% markup of having a contractor buy it for us. And at this dollar amount, we're just over $18,000 that would be just paying somebody else to buy them. So I presented it to save a little money, stretch our dollars, and get a few more things done.
So per
Like
policy 6220, we can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just, looking for your support.
Energy efficiency, better?
Yes, we go from like 83% to 96 or 98%. So
Nice.
and then there is, in the right up here, it has anticipated $32,500 incentives from Energy Trust of Oregon as well after they get installed. So
And any consideration on the maintenance? I mean, what I found in our home furnace, which is really high efficient, and this relates to our CTE program, it took 4 HVAC companies before I found someone who had experience in the military to solve problems that could figure out what was wrong with our home furnace. And it's all because it was this high-tech, super high efficiency furnace, which sounded great, still does.
You get too smart sometimes.
Yeah.
These ones, I had previous experience. I was working at a school district before and had ordered these exact boilers, that to get installed this summer. I moved over to Washougal. And so I reached out to my contacts at Camas. They've been very happy with it there, and that they've made it their basis of design as well, installed them in a building or in another building as well. And then I sent our 2 maintenance techs over in December to talk to one of the maintenance guys over there, physically look at them, touch them, ask questions and stuff, and then make sure that we have 8 hours of training for our 2 techs with this quote.
Great.
Awesome.
All right, anything else, anybody?
Want a motion to approve?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one, we have correction to approve the Gauze Hathaway flooring contract.
Yes, so in March, we asked you to approve, and then we realized there was an error in the math. And so this is just correcting that error. So this is flooring in Gauze and Hathaway.
Okay.
Questions about that?
Does anybody have anything? No.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carries this one. Then we're on to our ADA and security controls contracts.
Yes, so as you see in the description, we finished the competitive bidding process for the ADA doors and security upgrades at Gauze, the high school, Cape and Canyon. And so the lowest bidder is identified as GP Manchester. And so we're looking for your approval with this decision.
Do you have any questions?
I'm curious why the bids were so disparate for the Canyon Creek.
They lump Keep and Canyon together, and they put them under the one.
Okay,
So it's really both sides of
Got
that
it.
one bill.
got it.
So it means it looked larger than
Yeah.
it really.
Okay,
We had asked all vendors or all of the vendors to responded to break them up by school. It's really difficult to have two schools under one group.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
so from Brian, we were starting to really help us out.
Great, thank
All
you.
good.
All right, anybody else? Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
My second.
All in favor?
All right.
On to our policy revisions. We have a reading and approval. So policy 1250 for students on governing boards, and this will be our second reading.
Right, so you got a chance to look at that policy. We have had student reps for several years, we just haven't had a policy. So I'm excited about the opportunity to have a policy that identifies that we are prioritizing student reps to share with you their voice. And so I think that I talked about some revisions to that policy from the model policy, which I think fits how we want it to be for our student reps. That when they're on the agenda, they'll be here.
Yep.
Any questions?
Do we have any questions on that one? No. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. Right. I'm excited about that one.
Yes, me too.
Good one. All right, next up, we've got policy 3424, which is our opiate related overdose reversal second reading as well.
Right. So it's an update to this policy. And so I don't know if you have any questions about it. Jim, you had asked a question about have we had a recorded use of Narcan in our schools? And we have not. So the last 2 years, we have not.
That's
Yeah.
good to hear.
Yeah, and I started
Just
looking
curious,
as far
yeah.
as the state and also looking in the county, and there is data. I just thought that, I mean, if I can share with you links to where I was going.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have not had it anyway, to answer your question, which is a good thing. But this policy revision is about, our students in high school being able to carry.
No,
Narcan.
I'm all for the policy.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, yes.
Just curious about that.
So are there any other questions?
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay, we are on to our board of directors comments today.
I'll kick it off.
You're gonna go last, right? Yep, go ahead. I'll start this way next time.
You're all good.
I'm just a routine person.
No, I think just, it is National Volunteer Week, and I know just over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, what we've got going on is, Kate, they had the book fair, which was led by the boosters and volunteers there, was very successful and helpful to the school and the kids. We've got our local ECLL baseball softball league had their opening ceremony last Saturday. Again, an organization run entirely by volunteers, and it's a really cool opportunity for kids from different elementary schools to start getting to know each other. And then Reed Northwest will actually be wrapping up their final week next week. So I think it just says a lot to the community that we've got all these different
Yes.
programs running solely based off volunteers, parents and non-parents, right? They're people that had kids that graduated in the school or just want to help out, which I think is just really incredible. And also, if you want to volunteer for any of those organizations, they're always looking for more people.
All right, Jim.
Today's the 55th anniversary of Earth Day. I remember I was a high school kid when Earth Day came around right after the Santa Barbara oil spill. Very exciting. The ozone hole was disappearing. It seemed like high school kids could have an impact, and they changed all the Freon requirements, and the ozone hole sealed up, and still have to wear sunscreen, which had not been invented yet. But it's, I hope it's part of our culture that we continue to maintain a hospitable Earth environment, and through action in the schools and education in the schools. Also, a couple of random things, but I have a family member that's been doing genealogy that discovered that her forebears who moved from Canada to the US actually moved from the US to Canada because they were loyalists fighting on the side of the British. And so I've been learning about American history that I didn't get, and I don't remember this part of history in high school or elementary school or college. But between 1 and
3 and 1 in 5 American colonists were fighting on the side of the royal crown. And it was in, I mean, I'm 70. I like history. I just didn't know that part of our history was whitewashed, whatever you want to call it, in terms of the curriculum that was presented to me as a school kid. And I'm bringing that up just to point out how important it is that we present historical facts, the history of our country, good and bad. And I hope we're able to avoid changing our social studies curriculum to present a modified view of the reality of factual history. So that was interesting. There's a Supreme Court case being heard today that has potential to impact all of us. I'm a little freaked about it. The Mahmood v. Taylor in Montgomery County that would allow parents to opt out of essentially anything. This has to do with the presence of LGBTQ plus characters depicted in schools in the school book. It could be the depiction of Muslim or Jewish kids in a school book that parents could object to. Could be the presence of African American children in a school book, a picture of one in an elementary school book. And I'm hoping that the Supreme Court, it looks like they're going to rule in favor of the parents' ability to opt out based on the oral arguments today. And I'm hoping that their decision is very, very narrow, where it will be a nightmare for every elementary school in the country, including our own. And I just don't know how any district will be able to manage that. And then I'll just toss this out in the ring. I love the idea of having our student voice, our advisory votes. And I would like to throw out the possibility, I've talked briefly about it, of including our labor partners on advisory votes on important issues. Representative of the classified union, representative of the certificated union. I think the board would benefit by having their voice heard on important issues. And I know they can't serve legally because they're employees, but I'm just tossing that out for a future discussion. But I think with the goal of working as real partners with the board and all of our community of employees, that might be a step in the right direction to being cooperative and not the traditional management worker clash. And I think, I applaud our partners and our administration in the last couple of years, at least, of working collaboratively, but there may be more steps we could take to make sure that their voices are heard by the board.
Gotcha. That's it. Thank you.
I don't know. So being a federal employee and seeing all the uncertainty and just craziness that I witness every day, I think one, flexibility is a key word, and just thinking about just the state budget. And I mean, there's uncertainty every year, but I feel like just the world we live in, there's lots. So I think I appreciate the work that our district staff has been doing to try and retain flexibility so that we can be agile and kind of adapt to all these uncertainty. So I just really appreciate that. And as well as just like the fact that at the local level, we're able to make some rational decisions. At the federal level, we don't have unions anymore. So just a lot of craziness going on. So yeah, just really appreciate kind of how things are working at our local district.
Thank you.
All right. I will go next tonight. I actually I was gonna kind of say what Jane said about volunteers. I I want to thank Jake and Brian for their presentation last meeting. I think it was great for them to come in and kind of show us where all of our students are at and kind of a reminder that we have some amazing coaches. And I think sometimes we forget that, you know, they're volunteers, and most of them are volunteers. They have, you know, families and other things. And yeah, a lot of them probably coach because their kids are on the team or have been on teams or whatnot. But we have to remember, we have to appreciate our volunteers, because if it wasn't for these amazing volunteers, boosters, everything, we would not be as successful as we are. Volunteers really, really are amazing in our community. So thank you for anybody and everybody that volunteers, especially our coaches. I feel like they always have a hard job. And Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up. So I know there will be some sign up geniuses going out. So make sure that you guys look for those. Sign up to help either volunteer or bring food or, you know, anything. Watch for that, because we need to remember to appreciate our amazing teachers. And last, of course, I have to plug for Stride, May 17th. Please sign up. Please volunteer. We need more volunteers this year. So if you can, love to see you there. And with that, I'm going to send it over to Mr. Chuck.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity recently to give a lot of thought to where I've been and where I'm going. Birthdays do that to a person.
Sure do.
And I started teaching in 1965, and I've been involved in schools in one way or another for the last 60 years. And it's culminated in being able to serve on this school board, which is a tremendous honor. And looking ahead, my term ends in December. And if I were to be reelected in November for 4 years, at the end of my term, I would be 87 years old. And I'm less than confident that I would be an effective school board member at that time. So for that reason, I've decided I will not run for reelection in November. Now, it is challenging to be a school board member, especially starting in the middle of a school year. Consequently, I choose to leave at the end of this academic year so that the board will have the opportunity to identify my replacement in time so that that person can start at the beginning of the school year, go on the board retreat, get thoroughly up to speed on what the board does before the school starts. As I look back, being a daily volunteer in our schools and having the opportunity to visit each of our schools every year, thank you, Tracy, has given me insight into the lives of students that has been invaluable to me as a school board member. More than that, I have a renewed respect for the good work that is being done by students and staff every day. I've been particularly impressed by the respect and courtesy shown by our students toward visitors and each other. We have wonderful kids and wonderful schools. We must not lose sight of that. I have a great deal of confidence in the wisdom of this board and superintendent and in the overall management of our schools and school district. I've been proud to play a small part, but now I request acceptance of my resignation effective June 30th, 2025.
Thank you, Chuck.
So we, at our next meeting,
Okay.
we'll approve the minutes and we'll be in the minutes.
Okay, and then we just approve that.
Yeah, so that's, yeah.
Does the board need to take action to accept?
No,
Oh,
there's no,
okay.
yeah, no action that's needed.
Okay.
I'll take action. Thank you for your service.
Yes.
I think
Maybe that's her.
a wise and experienced voice that's been
Yeah.
exceptionally valuable.
Thank you.
I second that motion.
We're all in
Everyone's
favor.
in favor.
I'll abstain.
All right. Okay. That means we're up for our superintendent's update.
Okay, so I don't know if I gave you my made some copies, so I have copies of this presentation that you can.
We can
just
see
look
it.
up there, yeah, so I will give you a copy, sorry.
Save a tree.
So the first thing, though, would have been a slide on what Chuck just said. So just want to say thank you, Chuck, for your service to the school district in this role that you're currently in. And as you mentioned, being in buildings frequently as a board director, but then also as a volunteer. And you said you've been an educator for 60 years. And then you were in education as a student for several years. So just your involvement as in education in its entirety, your commitment to this school district and the impact you've had. I see when I hear our fifth grade students playing in band and the support you've provided, I have distinct memories of seeing you early morning waiting for a student that you were tutoring at Hathaway. So that level of commitment for that individual, for those students, you've changed their lives for the better forever. And the impact you've had with those individual students. The support you've provided our performing arts teachers and the respect they have and your advocacy for them and prioritizing performing arts has been much appreciated. If we were to list, and Les and I had talked a little bit about all the different clubs and organizations you've been a part of. And I've seen you and your wife helping out at Hathaway with Festival of Trees in different roles. I don't know what capacity you were in. You have so many, whether it's Lions or Rotary or whatever, all these different organizations you've been a part of, WACA for sure currently. So all of that, your commitment to this district and this community, we appreciate. I've shared before, but I'm going to share again, your leadership with me and your impact on me is invaluable. You gave me an opportunity years ago, and I'll never forget the conversation where you said, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And you gave me an opportunity to be an assistant principal. And so it was because of you, and I know others, but your belief in me and what you saw in me that maybe I didn't see at the time. So thank you. And as Jim, as you said, your wisdom, your humility, your contributions, and just in the way you've done it, you've had a huge impact. So we will miss you. We appreciate you very much, and know that you will still be supporting those community, those organizations that you have such a love for. So thank you.
And you can always come to meetings, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hang out anytime.
There's usually a seat available. So thank
can
you.
have
Thank
front
you.
row.
Thank you.
Okay, so Jim, at the last meeting, there were a couple questions and I didn't answer those questions. So again, and actually I don't have the slide printed off because I just updated this one, but you had asked about the community solar project. So what we were able to find out is that we've received a credit last year for $135. The overall commitment was, it's in here, 8,500. And so we will receive from the PUD over the next, each year, I think twice, credits. Yeah, is it once a year? Once a year credits. So yes, this is an investment. Not only for us will it pay off, it'll just be, several years. Yeah. But also, the purpose of the solar panels. So that was a question you had asked. So specifically, so we are seeing that investment. Return. Yeah, the return. Yep. And then the Naloxone I'd already answered regarding we've had 0 recorded in 2 years. And then you'd asked about athletics. So Shalise had put together, she's so efficient. And I think it could have been that night or the next day she answered the question. I just didn't push it out to you. But in 22-23, we see that it was overall for athletics was about $1 million. And you see the categories. And when we were talking to Jake and Brian, I think we were probably thinking about cost. And when we asked them and they gave us some information, it was more on uniforms and equipment and what it was at the middle school, what each, up to this point for this year. And so that's, they did their best to give us kind of an idea. But then, what we hadn't talked about is transportation. But Brian actually had talked about some of the challenges with
Yeah,
transportation.
right.
And then just the compensation connected to extracurricular supplies and whatnot. So you see that right now where we're at is about 530,000.
Yeah.
And I think the reason this came up was because we'd identified on our modified educational program, athletics and extracurricular activities and the potential. And what I shared at the time, what I think was published in the paper was just this idea that every year with athletics, we do the same process. If we don't have enough student athletes, we won't have an additional team, which has additional costs. Now, it doesn't necessarily increase transportation costs, but it will certainly increase in our official costs and our coaching stipends. At this point, we're not looking to eliminate any sports.
Right.
It's just that's in there for flexibility. And I know you just recently talked about flexibility. It's really important for us to have flexibility, especially when there's a lot of unknowns. So again, we see the value in extracurricular activities, and this community supports sports and other activities that happen outside the school day, and we're going to keep offering those. And WIAA just recently approved adding girls flag football.
Yes, sure did.
So that's another sport
Pretty exciting.
that potentially could be coming our way. And so, yeah, pretty exciting is right.
I would
Because
like
I
to
think
be
it
on
was,
that
it
team.
didn't, yeah, it wasn't approved the first time. It was presented last year. So,
Yeah.
so the first two slides are just answering your questions from 2 weeks ago. So transportation. So these pictures, the top left one, those are booster seats that are built into, this is a brand new bus. This is a 2025. We paid for it last year. The second one was just recently delivered. We saw the titles this morning. And so so I just happened to be over there visiting transportation and saw this brand new bus just rolled up. So I just, David, I gotta get some pictures. So I'm excited about the built-in boosters. We have 8 of those. So the first 2 rows, then the top right is lifting that seat up. So that's an additional seat that our other buses don't have to the exit row. So it allows us to have 6 more students, or 4 larger students, where we can sit there, because those seats aren't typically there, but they just lift up when we're evacuating. That one where David's on the outside, that's additional storage underneath. So we like those on longer trips. So if we have band or football or any sport that has equipment, then we can store that those supplies and equipment underneath. And then David, the bottom left, I don't know why I took that, but anyway, I think it was maybe just showing that there's the boosters again, and then the bottom right is there's a backup camera there. You can't see it, but now these 2 buses, we have backup cameras. Now the bus driver has a little screen. It's not like some current vehicles where it's a really large. No, I'm going to say that, but yeah. So it's a smaller screen that's built in, but it's nice to have a backup camera. And then the next things we're going to add is on the stop paddle, we're going to have cameras. So on these 2, we're going to have stop paddle cameras that our drivers are really excited about. That's one of the things. That's one of the first things they say when they ask us. We ask them, like, what can we do? They say, get stop paddle cameras.
Yeah.
Because we have people blow and stop.
Yeah.
And it's really dangerous and it's frustrating. And it's really clear what you're supposed to do when the stop paddle is out.
Big
right?
stop sign.
Yes. It's a big yes. It's a
Right
no-no.
there.
And it's very clear. So anyway, really excited about those buses. And then the only thing else I added is current bill, Senate Bill 5009. If it passes, we're going to be able to use transportation dollars to buy vans that we can then transport students in, that they aren't going to be paying out of a general fund. So those are going to be used for to and from, right? That will be really helpful. Again, another flexible move that our legislative representatives could help us with is using our transportation funds, which we manage very well. And we probably will purchase some vans that we can use for extracurricular and to and from. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that? No, we're just excited about it.
So who's gonna sit in those booster seats? Cause I know right now that, my kid would be like, I'm not sitting in that. So is there like,
Yeah, so 4-year-olds, TK,
okay, so that's what it's
Yeah.
for. Okay.
yes,
Cause I was,
4-year-olds,
okay.
and probably some 5-year-olds.
Okay.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean though? Like,
yeah,
that
of
it's
course,
like
yeah. But we
sit
do
in
have, we have
seats?
booster seats now that we put in.
Yeah.
There, but these are just,
For the little guys,
Yeah,
little
yeah.
guys. Okay.
and you can hardly notice if I sat down, you can hardly notice that's what it is.
You use one when you
No, I
were
did not.
sixth graders.
I won't be. Yeah, okay, just highlight this, just another amazing example of our students, Margaret Rice, partnering with one of our community members or community organization. So the Camas Washougal, the port, celebrating Earth Day today, as Jim mentioned. And these are little like these for, have you ever mason bees?
Oh,
What they do is they make they nest, they burrow in, lay their eggs, and then they are just, it's so amazing. And so these are going to be available at the port. Must be, I think this is probably today that these are going to be given out, but they were made by our students.
So cool.
Yeah, so Margaret, again, working with the port. And so these are down at the port office. And I happened to be there last week for a meeting with I'm a part of the Camas Washougal Community Chest, and that's where we meet. So these were there, so I took a couple pictures. And then the other ones are just houses. Yeah, so phenomenal teamwork by our students. And then partnering with WACA, and WACA is looking to do an art supply drive. And so you see there's a QR code there. So we really appreciate that WACA wants to support our art teachers with getting more art supplies in our schools. And so we generate a list, and then that QR code will take them, anyone who wants to donate, to the Amazon list. So that'll just phenomenal.
That's
Art
very cool.
supplies, they're kind of expensive. They're we consumables. So really appreciate WACA's interest in supporting us.
Update on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The woman who's leading that in WACA is overwhelmed with the volume of
Oh, wow.
supplies.
Oh,
So
so cool.
it's a big turnout, big
That's
support
great.
from the community, let's
Yeah.
say, for helping keep
Excellent.
arts in
Thank
our
you.
schools.
Yeah,
And so you click on it and you can donate actual supplies versus money.
Yes,
I love
yes.
that.
you identify, yeah.
Teachers, I worked with Kathy to put the list together.
Yeah.
But she wants, she really is very dedicated to getting this accomplished, that they've done it in Camas as well. And she wants to be able to have the supplies delivered to teachers on the week of the teacher. So there's some, not urgency, I don't want to say.
Well,
Oh,
I think-
teacher appreciation.
Teacher appreciation,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So
cool.
she was
Okay.
very hopeful that we could get it out. And so that's great news, Jen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Excellent.
Will you send that to all of us so that I could post it?
Yes, for
That'd be
sure.
great.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one, as I mentioned, at the next board meeting, Les will give an update on the capital projects and how we're moving along. This is just so you are aware. And we've communicated to our staff, but this is information that we need to remind staff frequently and in our community that because of the projects that we're doing, the buildings won't necessarily be available like they have been in the past during the summer. So we're moving as we plan for, say, athletic camps. We're moving where those will probably be because we're going to have contractors and subcontractors in our buildings. Our custodians are going to be doing cleaning throughout our buildings. And so I think I mentioned we're doing a custodial team cleaning initiative. And when, like our custodians really appreciate it, people just stay off the floors when they clean them. And that's really one of their big pet peeves. So we're really going to be encouraging staff this summer, just, take your devices home with you and work from home and avoid coming back to school until the work is done. So you're aware, if you were to get maybe someone reach out to you and ask why, it's because there's so much work that's happening in our buildings. And there's distractions, there's safety concerns for a variety of reasons. We're just going to be mitigating the potential risk by just saying stay away.
So will that affect though, because I know at the beginning of summer, the high school puts on those camps for the kids for like sports and
Yes,
stuff.
yeah, so we're gonna be working with the team and determining, like, it might be possible
Okay,
early, or we'll just move them to CRG JMS.
okay,
So they need access to a gym,
because I know
it'll
that's so
probably be the
popular.
JMS gym, the CRG gym.
Okay,
And so we are also, like, we've been talking a lot about our HVAC systems and the controls, like this, like those systems are gonna be down.
right.
So
It's
we
gonna
won't
be out
have, we
there.
won't have climate control options when we're working on those systems. So that, yeah, so we will, if we need to move them, we'll move them.
Yeah.
And we'll communicate that out. We'll work closely with our coaches.
Okay. I just know those are popular with.
Yeah,
kids
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
stuff, so.
yeah. And it's just, and this is, we're thrilled with the support by our community. This is the best time to do it and really the only
Absolutely.
time to do it. Otherwise, we're gonna be impacting the learning.
Right.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
don't want to do that.
All right, so the city of Washougal, the city council is looking for a new student rep. Emily Bishop is graduating. That's a picture of her on the left, bottom left. So she's been the rep. We've had student reps for multiple years. So we're going to be seeking a junior or senior, a 10th grader, 11th grader to fill the role. So if you know of someone, we're going to be advertising this. Our high school administrative team is aware. We're looking for a student rep for the city council.
Okay.
So, Sadie, you had asked about Math Nation a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And so this is a little bit of information about Math Nation, which is a free resource provided by OSPI. We found out about it this fall. It took us a little while to work through the agreement, the data sharing agreement, and then to get our staff caught up to speed. Tracy, thank you for your work. Les, thank you. It's a free resource. It has just taken us a while to get it up and running. We provided training for like 13 individuals, administrators, and teachers at the secondary level who participated. So this is available to our students. So we appreciate OSPI in finding this free resource. 8th grade algebra, geometry, algebra 2 support that's provided in a variety of different opportunities. And teachers, I think, can assign levels of support with students having an account. And then students have access to it 24/7. Those who really love math can do it all the
Ever
time.
response from OSBI
Mm-hmm.
to declining math
Yeah.
scores, and then also looking at kids and seeing the gaps, the academic gaps in mathematics. And we're hopeful that OSBI is in negotiation right now with Math Nation, that'll be available next year as well. So we're keeping our fingers.
So now that we're up and running,
Yeah.
we're hoping it'll be available next year.
Mhm.
And then elementary focus with Tracy's leadership and working with our principals, we've provided training for elementary teachers. The first 3 sessions were actually all the sessions were by Cheryl,
Yes.
right? Provided Cheryl McIntyre delivered the PD focused on illustrative math. The last 2, which were additional trainings, which is the last 2 were supporting highly capable students and then enrichment opportunities with our K5 curriculum. So when those was there Excelsior, the
Yes.
trainings, yeah.
We
So
have one more.
one more that we're going to be providing. If you're interested, Tracy can let you know what it is, just to see the Cheryl in action. Cheryl, who is a phenomenal teacher for us at Jump to Guard, who's been a math coach. So just relying on her providing this PD, we appreciate that, and Tracy organizing the training. And then, as Sadie mentioned, Stride is coming up. I think it's like it's gonna be like 18th to 19th.
17. Oh, how many? Oh, no, because wasn't last year the 20th?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So
It's
it's like, yeah.
21st.
Yeah.
So it's the 21st. 21st Stride. And so we need volunteers. So if you are interested, I don't know how many people are on Zoom, but if you are interested and you want to participate, it is really a fun morning. It's not even all day. It's just like really,
Morning.
early AM to 11ish
Yeah.
or so, if you stick out the whole time.
And if you have kids, then, and if you want to volunteer and you have kids, volunteer at the Ninja.
Yeah, in the middle of
yeah,
the field, we have
the
a
son is still
a
talking about
ninja
that.
obstacle
The
course.
obstacle course is
Yes.
phenomenal. It's easy to volunteer there because
Yeah.
the kids can kind of run around.
Yeah, so TK, well, actually, how early can the youngest race might just be I mean, maybe there's somebody even crawl. In one way. Yeah, yeah, so it is phenomenal. And I actually have I have a picture of myself. I was a part of the first one.
Yeah.
I'm carrying my son around
Oh,
because he was there and he was little. And so, yeah, it's just really an amazing event that happens through the Washougal Schools Foundation. So we just love it, and it's healthy and it raises funds for our kids.
and you have a cowbell. No,
And I have a wonderful cowbell.
to start each race.
Yeah, oh, and so, yeah, I only use it for that. 'Cause I used to use it here at District Office. so I guess
Sorry, guys.
that's-
Who made that for
I
him?
got some feedback. Something you use outside. So that, I think, let's see, the only thing I don't have a slide for this one, but Thursday from 5 to 7 is our first strategic planning meeting. So we have about 20 total individuals participating. We have a lot of input that we've gathered. Les shared that information. We're looking forward to our first session. And then these are our norms. I just want to share with you our norms for our meetings. When you establish norms, you can do it collectively. And it can be a somewhat lengthy process. So just kind of get into the action. Les and I worked on the norms. So we have listen to understand, speak to be understood, assume positive intent and stay student-centered, and then honor all voices and encourage participation. So those are our norms, working collaboratively as a team, really excited about this. So I think we have Chuck and Sadie are hopefully going to be there
I will be
on
there.
Thursday with 18 other people.
Awesome.
We're going to feed you. It's going to be Excelsior. And so looking forward to that.
Me too.
I think that is all.
All right.
Citizen comments. Yes, we'll be next.
No citizen comments. All right. Do we have any future agenda items that we want to put out there? Anybody? No. All right. And as always, our board evaluation forms are available online. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we've adjourned at 7:23. I gotta start using this more.